Welcome everybody to a quick shift video. Not your usual video this time, a slightly different one. The reviews are still very much on and very much happening. But I decided to take a trip within Canada to Vancouver, British Columbia. And this trip will go on to even Banff, Alberta. The drive, I heard, is very spectacular and I needed a car. So I got in touch with Mazda Canada. And I'm very thankful to Mazda Canada for providing me with a car for my trip. So here's the car. The car you see is the CX50 Meridian Edition. Now I've already driven this car a lot. I've done a very thorough review and I truly enjoyed the car. So when Mazda Canada told me that I could take the CX50 on a road trip, I definitely could not say no to it. So hop on aboard and be a part of the journey that I'm going to undertake right now with this beautiful car. I am on the Capilano suspension bridge itself. Whoa, it's shaking a bit. Let me just show you the view around here. Apologies for the shaky footage. On the Capilano suspension bridge, but this is a cliff walk. And look at the view around. It's crazy. I am now walking on the way back to the car. As you can see, views are spectacular and the bridge is shaking. So you have to be well balanced. I'm actually walking without holding anything, just holding my phone. But yeah, this was good fun. After the Capilano suspension bridge trip, we decided to meet some friends for dinner and then check in for the night. The next day, we decided to head out to the UBC campus because we knew that it is very pretty and we were not disappointed. We checked out the UBC campus and roamed around downtown Vancouver because we had come to Vancouver for only one thing. And the next thing is, yes, the Coldplay concert. Let's just say the experience was magical, and we checked into the night after this because we had a long day tomorrow. We were ready to explore Victoria. We are on a ferry to Victoria. As you can see, the car is parked. There are a huge queue of cars, but we made it a bit late, but somehow managed to enter the ferry, so we're lucky. And hoping to reach Victoria in about an hour and a half of ferry time. So let's see how Victoria is.
After a 35-minute drive from the port to this place, Butchart Gardens, which is one of the biggest botanical gardens in the world. The flower collection here is truly unreal. It's very, very pretty, and you have representatives from each country. So you have like an Italian section, a Japanese section, and it's all so pretty. You can spend easily 5 to 6 hours here, which we did very leisurely, and it was amazing. We did not want to leave, but we had to explore more of Victoria. So then we drove to the downtown of Victoria. We ate some lunch, beautiful food, beautiful city. It's also rated one of the most walkable cities in the world. So we parked our car and we just walked around the whole place. We saw the Legislative Parliament building of British Columbia, which is again very beautiful. And we also visited the local museum because they had some special screenings and some displays of ancient history, which we really like. So we had a quick walk around there as well. Again, Victoria was extremely beautiful, and definitely I would like to visit again. But we went back for a quick night because our main drive was tomorrow from Vancouver to Banff. So the very next day, at around 8 or 8:30, we decided to proceed with our trip and drive to Banff, Alberta from Vancouver, British Columbia. Now, there are many routes that Google Maps shows. Some goes through Kelowna, some through just a regular Trans-Canada highway. There's also a route that goes through Jasper, which is the longest route. I think that's above 1100 kilometers. The shortest route is about 850 kilometers, and the route we took because of the road closures on Trans-Canada highway was about 920 kilometers. It was through open highways, four-lane highways, through the roads, through the mountains, and also single-lane highways through the mountains, through the forests, and it was extremely pretty. It was raining most of the way, so you can expect that the views are even more spectacular with the clouds hanging much lower than they would otherwise. But the lush greens and everything was just so mesmerizing and so much to take in. All the footage you see here is from the route that we saw from our eyes. It's obviously sped up, but as you can see, the backdrop is just absolutely insane. So much of trees, forests, and then you have snow-clad mountains, normal mountains, and you can see the various weathers we saw also. We saw cloudiness, we saw rain, and then we saw some sunny weather as well towards the end. Absolutely beautiful roads. The tarmac is spot on, like just fabulous. One of the best roads I've actually driven on. And this is actually heralded as one of the best drives of Canada. And now, after driving on it, I can totally understand why it is rated up there as one of the best drives of Canada. And yes, the car made it just that much more special because this car was so much fun in the twisty sections of the road. We checked in for the night, and then the next day we decided to check out the famous Banff landmarks, which is Lake Louise and Lake Moraine. Perhaps we could add another place if we had time, which we did eventually. We ended up going to a place called Johnston's Canyon as well. So today was a long day full of long hikes and trails.
Today we've come to Lake Louise, and honestly, we've seen so many reels and pictures of this place, but in real, it's the capture can't do justice. Honestly, it's so beautiful. Here's some views. This is the trail. We went to the end of the lake. Now we're walking back to the head of the lake, and it's so pretty. As you can see, the waters are so blue. Just like how all the postcards have it, it's so blue. The views are just fabulous. Clouds are adding a lot of drama to the mountain. It's amazing, it's spectacular. the mesmerizing Lake Moraine. Excellent views. Water is so clear. It rained, but now the clouds have moved. You can see the snow-capped mountains and everything. It's extremely beautiful. Honestly, the camera does not do justice.
After Lake Moraine, we had some time before the sun set, so we tried to make the most of it and we headed to a place called Johnston Canyon. Now it was full of trails and it had a lot of waterfalls inside, so we decided to do the whole trail. It was, I think, almost 5 kilometers of trails and it was a bit challenging but totally worth it. And after nearly 30,000 steps of walking and hiking of the day, we decided to call it a night and prepare to fly back to Toronto the next day.
You find me behind the wheel of the CX50, which I've been driving for quite a lot of days now through open highways, twisty roads, tight trails, everything. And this car has delivered, and some. The turbo engine, and one of the reasons I chose this car was because I knew that this car would have the famed 2.5 turbo engine, 250 horsepower. No shortage of power of overtaking on the highways or anything. Honestly, this engine has been a joy to drive. The economy could have been better, so I have been filling it up every roughly 500-600 kilometers. The range could have been a bit better, but no complaints because everything else this car does so well. The fuel economy is the last thing I'm thinking about. The interior space is really good. Me and my wife have been traveling. We are at utmost comfort. We had some friends in the rear seat for some while. They were very happy. The boot space has all our luggage, one big suitcase, few backpacks, few jackets, accommodated all very smoothly, very easily. And this car rides so well. Even though this is the Meridian, so it has the all-terrain tires, the Falcon Wild Peaks, it still rides really good even on paved surfaces like this. The Signature has the road tires. I'm sure that rides a bit better and the tire noise would be even lesser. But even with the all-terrains, this car is not supposed to handle like this. And trust me, this crossover is one of the best, if not the best handling crossover in the market right now. The steering feel is so top-notch. I mean, we all know Mazda makes all of their cars, sports cars, sedans, crossovers, extremely fun to drive. But until you actually push them and enjoy them on the corners, like I am on a beautiful road ramp. I am on the Bow Valley Parkway in Banff, Alberta. And this car has been such a joy on these kind of twisty B roads and even open highways. Like, honestly, you can do crazy speeds within the speed limit, obviously, and you don't have to brake at all, taking even sharp corners because it's so well composed. The chassis, the tires are working so well. The steering feel is so top notch. You know how much exactly steering lock to put in while you're in a corner. No mid-corner correction, so it doesn't unsettle the car. The brakes are really good. Pedal feel could have been a bit better. It's a bit woody, but after that, now I've been driving this car for such a long time, you get used to the brake pedal feel and you know exactly how much it takes to stop just before a corner or stop at a stop sign, all that. Again, I very well knew what I was getting myself into because I've driven this car a lot when I was in Toronto. I reviewed this car, so when I had the choices, this was a no-brainer, and honestly, I have no regrets. My decision, I'm so happy. And big thanks to Mazda Canada for lending us the CX50 for our big road trip.
After 6 days and 1700 kilometers of driving through Canada's most beautiful landscape, it was time to drive to Calgary, drop off the car, and take the return flight home to Toronto.
So that's my time with the Mazda CX-50 coming to an end. As you can see, I have parked the car at the Calgary dealership, which is partnered with Mazda Canada. And as usual, I cannot thank Mazda Canada enough for giving me the opportunity to enjoy this car over the span of the last few days, driving over 1700 kilometers through Canada's most beautiful landscapes. The car was a joy and the trip was amazing too. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.